Thank you for joining me in another live session today. If you were trying to log into the other live session, I hope you're joining me in this one because that one is not valid anymore. So come on into the new live session, and sorry for the confusion. Hi Sharon, hi Howard, how are you? So today's live session is going to be on signs before you make a breakthrough in your life. Signs that show up before you make a breakthrough in your life. And this is one of the most powerful live sessions and topics that I think I'm going to be talking about, is because there's been incredible things going on in my life. It just feels like chaos storms. It feels like nothing is going right. And I want you to pay attention to these moments when you feel like you're going through the storm and what that really means for you, and how you're going to transmute transcend those times. So this is a really, really powerful subject matter that I think that so many of us can use, because so many of us are going through storms. We're going through chaos. We're going through anxiety, stress. We're going through tremendous amount of confusion, right? We're going through all of that. So think about what that means for us. How do we interpret that? How do we interpret that in a way that makes us be able to transcend and transmute? Okay, so that's what I want to really discuss today. So if you have any questions during this live session and live discussion, let me know. I rarely structure these talks in a way that has like bullet points. Like, I might have some things in my mind, but when I do these live sessions, it's literally just a topic and then I just go with the flow. That's really 99% of what I do. I might write down a couple of things, but it's really just flow. I ask God to allow me to channel words, phrases, wisdoms to you. So I'm really here as a channeler. So I'm doing this truly live, not scripted, barely outlined. I have some concepts and then I go with it. Okay, so bear with me. Let's clear the energy of the room and then let's get into this topic. Hi, Howard. Hi, Ella. Hi, Tony. Hi, Elsie. Hi, Diana. Hi, Carolyn. Great to see all of you. So just stay present, breathe naturally, focus in the present moment, the power of now, and let's get started. Dear God, angels, spirit guides, divine masters, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space on the topic of signs before we make that big energetic breakthrough in our lives. Thank you so much for allowing us to channel your words, your wisdoms, your messages, your guidance for the highest and best good of all the beautiful souls in this room. Thank you so much for allowing us to be able to understand what we're going through in our lives currently, and during the times when we are in the storm, we are in the hurricane. How do we navigate that? And what signs does that reveal to us from God and the universe? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing this session to go off without a hitch, to move through with ease flow. Thank you for removing any low frequency energies that do not serve the highest and best good, for this session to have beautiful engagements, to have this session that is productive, that where we engage with each other and learn from each other. So thank you so much for allowing this session to be flowing with peace, serenity, and for the highest and best interest of all. Thank you. And so it is. Okay. So if you think you are going through the storm right now, let me know. Let me know. Write some comments of what storm you might be going through, what chaos you might be feeling right now in your life. Write it down and share it with us. Share it with us. So you have to understand that God is always trying to prepare you for something, preparing you to level up. That's why you're here. You're here, your soul is in this time space reality to be able to level up, level up, level up, because your soul is eternally seeking to expand and grow. And so that means that you have to keep leveling up, because in order for that expansion and growth, it's about leveling up, leveling up, leveling up on the soul level. And the soul level, that is basically the foundation of what God wants for you. God wants for you to expand and grow eternally. But that takes stepping into a different level, claiming a different level, being in a new state of being. It's leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. And so, one of the things that the way we prepare ourselves to level up, the way you're going to prepare yourself to be able to level up, because if you cannot level up, then what it means is that abundance that God wants to provide you, you won't be able to handle it. You won't be able to manage it. You're going to lose everything. It's like you're giving somebody who doesn't know how to manage, you're giving them $1 million and they turn into $0 because they don't know how to manage that money. So that's the same thing in life, that when you are given certain responsibilities and certain abundance and prosperity, you've got to be able to hold that space. You've got to be the vessel to hold that. And if you're not the vessel that could hold that, that means you're going to lose everything. So that's what the preparation is for. God is keeps preparing you, keep refining you for leveling up, leveling up, leveling up. Because when you get there, you're going to have to be able to hold that. You're going to be able to hold that light. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. You're going to go into anxiety, stress, and you might have health issues, whatever it is. And you're going to start to spiral downward. And so all of this stuff that is happening is for your preparation and for your refinement for the next step, for the next level, for the next level, for the next level. That is what God really wants for you. And that's what the universal forces wants for you. It wants your highest and best interest, not to punish you, not to say, you're less than. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's all about expansion and growth. That's all it's about. It's about, and the way you expand and grow is because you have stepped into a new frequency, stepped into a higher frequency, stepped into a higher frequency. And so, what it is that when you are going through some of the, like the stormiest times that you have ever gone through in your life, where people have just passed that you thought were going to be in your life for the rest of your life, or perhaps it's a financial loss, a big financial loss, or perhaps it's, like I said, death of a loved one, or perhaps it's the loss of a job that you thought was like your entire world or your entire identity. It feels like everything is being lost. Everything is being taken. Everything is chaotic and you have no idea what you're going to do next, or you have no idea why this is happening to you. You are in the storm. Everything feels chaotic. Everything feels disrupted. Everything feels like confusion, lost, feeling lonely, like you're by yourself, no support, no this, no that. Just the stormiest time of your life. That is actually the time when you could break through. You're going to break through. That is exactly the sign that God is giving you before you actually break through to that next level. And why do you need that stormy times? Why do you need such chaos, such storms, such hurricane in your life? Because you need refinement. You need to build that inner world. You need to refine that inner world. You need to refine the mental and emotional space. You need to step up to and remember who you really are, which is an infinite being of infinite potential. And that's why these situations, that stormy situation, is being provided to you. Because God says you're on the verge. You're on the verge. But we're going to refine you even more so that you could be prepared for that next level. So you could hold that space. So you could honor that space. And you can claim it and step into that next level. And so the storms, the hurricanes, the chaos, the confusion, what seems to be all that is actually refining you to step into that next level. That's what that really is. That's what that really is. It's not to punish you. It's not to judge you. And oftentimes we feel, oh my God, life is so unfair. Why is this happening? Nothing's ever, why is this happening? This is the worst thing that could ever happen in my life, right? It is not the worst thing. It is actually the best thing that could happen in your life because you need to be prepared for the next thing, for the next level. And you cannot be prepared. Nobody prepares you. Nobody, you're not going to be refined when everything's happy go lucky. You're only going to be refined. You're only going to seek out the truth. You're only going to seek out wisdom. You're only going to seek out who you really are during the storm. You're not going to seek it out when everything seems handy dandy and comfortable. When you seek out, the times when people seek out their truth, their soul, the wisdom, is when you are put in a stormy situation. You're going to seek those things out. And when you seek those things out in a powerful way, because you are in the storm, you have no choice. You are in the storm. So if you don't seek those out, you're just going to spiral downward. You're going to go. It's a choice that you have. God has given you a very, very profound, deep choice. But during that storm, let's say you've lost everything. You've lost your house. You've lost the money. You've lost the spouse. You've lost everybody in your life. Is that the time when you could be refined? Is that the time when you're going to seek wisdom? Is that the time when you're going to seek truth? Is that the time when you're going to seek your higher self? Yes, that is the time. That is called refinement. That is called preparing you. Preparing you. And that is the time when you're going to want to align with your higher self. You're going to want to align with your soul's purpose. You're going to want to align with your soul's path. It's not going to be when things are all fine and dandy. It's going to be during the storm that you're going to want to do that. And so that is why God has presented you with that storm. Because in order to reach that next level, you have to be prepared for that next level. If you're not prepared, you're going to lose it. And so this is what the storm represents. The storm is your preparation. It's your teacher. It's the foundation for moving to the next level. Because you're going to go and seek every wisdom, every truth, every part of you that you have never even explored, you have never even experienced. You're going to step in and claim your power during the storm. You're going to remember who you are, not what society told you you are, not what social media said you are, not the fake part of you that everybody posts, and so not any of that stuff. That mask comes off during the storm. It comes off. It gets ripped off like this. And you are raw. You are bare. And when you are so raw and bare, that is when you are your strongest. That is when you have truth. You have strength. You have authenticity. You have power. And the storm is your tool to reveal that to you. And the bigger the storm, the bigger your higher self could be revealed to you. The bigger truths could be revealed to you. The bigger wisdoms could be revealed to you. The bigger authenticity of who you are, and to step and claim into that could happen. That's what the storm does. That's what the hurricane does. That's what chaos does. That's what fear does. That's what uncertainty does. Can you find more certainty during uncertain times? Can you find more courage during times of fear? Can you find more love during the time when you feel no love from the outside world? Can you have more trust and faith when everything seems like it's falling apart? Can you? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Every single of you can. You know why? because you are an eternal being of infinite wisdom, infinite potential. And you have to remember that. The storm is helping you to remember that. You don't even realize how powerful you really are because society has said this, society has said that, society has said this, your friends have said this, social media has said this, right? Think about all the messaging that you get. Is it empowering you or does it disempower you? What type of messaging are you absorbing from social media, from society, from news, from friends, from family? So the storm is so that you could just get rid of that mask and return to remembering who you really are. And when you do that, when you start to align with that, the breakthrough is going to happen. You inevitably, you must go to the next level. You must go to that next level. It is happening. That is the way it works. There is no other option than for you to level, to go to that, meet that next level, to make that breakthrough in your life. And so this storm, we gotta change the meaning. We're gonna shift the meaning of the storm. The storm is not about punishment. It's not about judgment. It's about you aligning with your true power. You aligning with your infinite potential. You aligning with your natural talents and gifts. You aligning with who you really are. And you're not going to make excuses for that. You're not going to have to explain yourself to family and friends. You're not going to have to justify who you are or what you say or how you do things because you're going to claim it. You're going to step into who you are. So when you have you noticed that the more confident the person is, the less explaining and justifying they have to do to others? I always notice that the most confident people come in silent. They don't necessarily even say a lot of things to a lot of people. They just don't. Because they don't need to. They don't need to justify their worthiness. They don't need to justify their who they are, right? So you're going to step into it in a quiet way, but that quiet is powerful. That quiet is the loudest thing you've ever broadcast in your life. And when you start behaving, people like, oh my God, who is this new person? Who is Heidi? Nicole? Who is LC? Who is this new person? People can just feel it. They can feel it because you're going to be broadcasting a different energetic signal, the energetic signal of who you really are, not who you try to portray to be. And that is the reason why the storm comes in. The storm comes in so you could just rip off that mask and you can align with your true power so that you could meet the next level, meet the financial abundance, meet the fabulous relationships, meet the careers, meet health abundance, whatever it is. You've got to step up to it. You've got to meet it. And the storm is your greatest tool, catalyst for meeting your next level. So let's take a break here and then let's see if there's any questions about this. Oh, Sharon, so okay. Great to see you, Sharon. Howard Griffin, Mercury retrograde. Yeah, I know. I know. I've been having some technical difficulties, so I've had to use a different browser for this. Um, okay. Oh, my live sessions. Okay, all the live sessions are public except for the ones where I was doing some I Ching readings and I kept those private because uh what I noticed was that people were trying to impersonate me and be who I am and they were trying to it was a scam and they were trying to reach you to say that they were me and try to scam you for money for reading. So I turned off those I Ching reading videos. Good day, Heidi. How are you? Okay, Nicole says, was just laid off from my job and choosing to stay positive, trusting God. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Now, does that mean that you're always, if you lost your job, that could be traumatic. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be, oh, I'm so good, I'm handy dandy. It is a very good thing that you're trying to stay positive, and it's a very good thing, and it's a must that you must trust God, because that door was closed so you could empty your vessel for something better to come in. So what does the storm does? The storm empties your vessel. It empties the vessel. So all the things that no longer served your highest and best good, the storm's going to empty it out. It's going to empty out that vessel. And your vessel needs to be emptied out. Why? Because in order for something better to come in, better people, better situations, better opportunities, that vessel has to be emptied. You got to start again. And the storm helps you to empty that vessel. That's what it does. Think about it. If you got all that clutter, you can't receive something better. If that vessel is full, think about like a cup with a cup of tea. If I don't empty out this tea that I have and I just keep pouring into it, it's just going to overflow, right? I have to empty this vessel in order to bring in something new, something better, right? Otherwise, if I just keep trying to add, it's not going to do much. It's just going to spill all over the place. So what the storm does, it empties this vessel for you. That's what it does. It's emptying this vessel so that you could bring in the better situation, the better opportunities, the better people, the better career, the better relationships, the better financial opportunities. It's got to get emptied. And how do you empty it? The storm helps you to empty that because you are so raw. And the things, the priorities or the value system that you may have had before no longer apply. Or the people that were your friends before no longer resonate with you. And they needed to be released so that you could meet better people, higher frequency people. And so the storm helps you to clean it. You know how the hurricane, when the storm comes in, it just like, and it flattens things out, and then you have to rebuild. Well, that's what it is. You're rebuilding your inner vessel, rebuilding to level up to the next level, and allowing better situations and people and opportunities to come in. That's why the storm is so important. The storm is your greatest teacher. The storm is your greatest tool. The storm is your greatest experience. Doesn't mean that it's not painful to go through. Of course it's painful to go through. But that pain is what awakens you to your power. That suffering is what awakens you to your truth. That fear and uncertainty is what awakens you to courage and trust. It awakens you in a way that is so profound. And when you awaken to your power, what is it that you cannot accomplish? What is it that you cannot manifest? Think about that. When you awaken to that, what is it that you cannot accomplish? When you align yourself with your true power. Because what is yours divinely can never be taken from anybody. What is divinely yours will never be taken. And when you align with that, your soul's journey, your higher self, your soul, your infinite potential, what is yours is just going to be attracted to you. You won't even have to take a lot of steps. It's going to just come in. You're going to become a magnet. That's what's going to happen. You're not even going to take a lot of steps. You're going to become a magnet. It's just going to come to you. Whoosh, 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 and things will flow. And you might get to a point where you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming because so much is happening. Think about that overwhelm. You have to be prepared to hold that space. That's a big space that you're holding for all of that beautiful thing to come in, right? That you have to be able to hold that space. That vessel has to be able to hold that. So if you cannot prepare your inner world for that, you're going to lose it. That's what the storm is. The storm is preparing you to be able to hold all of that. You see how powerful that storm is for you? You see how powerful that hurricane is for you? You see how amazing chaos is for you? But what it's saying is you're ready to make a breakthrough. You're ready. That's why God has given you the storm, because if you weren't ready for that breakthrough, you wouldn't be presented with that storm. God knows this person is ready. Heidi is ready. Diana is ready. Nicole is ready. The storm comes in. Wow. What do? More faith, more trust, more alignment, more truth, more awakening, more courage, more aligning with who you are, remembering who you are, stepping into who you are, claiming who you are. Now you're going to break through. Now you're going to break through. You're going to just go whoosh, when everybody is held back. Everybody else is held back. So a storm is really a blessing in disguise. That's what it really is. It's saying that you are ready for something bigger, much bigger, and you're ready to make the breakthrough, but you got to go through the storm. Without that storm, you're not going to be ready for that breakthrough. You need it. Welcome it. I mean, look, saying welcome storm. Well, I welcome storm. Who wants to welcome pain? Who wants to welcome suffering? Who wants to welcome nobody? But let me tell you, when you go through that storm and you pass through it and you make that breakthrough, wow, what is it that you cannot accomplish next? Now you're thinking about now it's about the next level, the next level. How are you going to get to that next level, the next level, the next level? Because now you've got all this prosperity and abundance coming and it's this vessel. You're like, I don't know how to hold it. I feel a little overwhelmed. Again, preparing you, refining you to be able to hold that vessel of light. Okay, so does anybody have any other question about this? Okay, so let's see. Ella says the content is quite educative and life transformative. It is. It is. This stuff is life transformative. It is very life transformative. And I'm going to part two. I'm going to give you some tools and tips of how to claim your power, how to claim who you are, how to step into who you are. That's what I want to do next. Okay. For healing's sakes, Diana Huerta says, oh, going through something, but trying to push through. Don't say trying. Diana, you are far greater than that. I am pushing through. I am pushing through. Don't say trying. Don't say future. I am pushing through because I am Diana. I am strong. I am an infinite being of infinite possibilities. Claim your power, Diana. Don't say trying. Don't try. There is no trying. When you remember who you are, Diana, you claim it. You step into it. There is no trying. So based on what you're saying, trying, I can already hear, I can already feel that energy that you must claim, you must step in. I am Diana. I am talented. I am gifted. I am able to transmute this. I am able to transform myself. I am not trying. Am. Claim it. Because when you remember who you are, you're only going to claim it. And when you get to a point where it becomes such a default of who you are, you're not even going to have to say, I claim it. I step into it. You're just going to do it. It's going to be your default state of being, state of reaction, state of response. I'm doing it. It's done. It is done. And that's the state of being that you must embody, that I claim it. I step into it. I am. Not trying, not future. It is now. It is during the storm. Okay? But Diana, I totally, give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for recognizing that you want to make, and the reason why you're here is because you know you want to make a transformation, right? And the fact that you're here to make that transformation, you have to give yourself credit for that. But don't say try. Say I am. I'm stepping into it. I claim it. Okay, for healing's sakes, let's see. I'm being called to start living, to seclude myself from everyone, and to fully connect with nature, God, nature, and my higher self. That is a beautiful thing. Yes, when you are in the storm, that is one of the most powerful things that you could do. You isolate yourself and you go inward and you discover yourself. You discover your higher self. You discover your purpose. You discover your strength. You discover your courage. You discover faith. You discover your talents and gifts. You discover everything about yourself. And when you're in that storm, that's what you do. You spend more time alone. And do not surround yourself with people who are constantly projecting their limited beliefs on you, whether it's your family and friends. And I get it, they have good intentions, but they don't know what your journey is. Your journey is so beautiful and magnificent, and they will probably not be able to resonate with that journey. They're not able to resonate with that journey, and it's okay because you're going to do this in silence. And when you come out of that storm, everybody around you is going to see that you're a different person. Oh my God, who is Ella? Who is Diana? Who is this? And some of them will want the old person back. Why? Why are some of them wanting that old person back? Because they feel uncomfortable with the new you, the leveled up Diana, the leveled up Heidi, the leveled up Nicole. They're going to feel uncomfortable because they're not leveled up. And so they want to pull you back to the old self because now when you're here and they're here, there's no resonance, right? So they're trying to pull you back to where they are, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to do in silence. I'm not saying that you should get rid of them from your life. I'm just saying is say, be cordial, especially if it's your family. You don't want to lose relationship with them, right? If they say something, just nod your head and smile and go about your silent business. You hear what I'm saying? And send them a prayer. Go about your silent business of moving through the storm and preparing yourself for what's next. Some breakthrough that you're making. And wish your family and friends well. Because they each have their own soul's journey that they must go through. And if they're not ready to make that breakthrough, then they're not ready. That's a soul's journey. You hear what I'm saying? So you're going to do this in absolute silence. And that silence is so loud. It's so loud because when you come out of that storm and you've made that breakthrough, think about what a different person, what your life is going to look like. It's going to look completely different, right? And that's evidence of your breakthrough. That's why that silence becomes loud. And everybody around you is going to notice it. Oh my God. Right? And that in itself is loud. Okay. So for healing's sakes, you are doing a great thing. Thank you. Nicole says, I never felt that job was right and the ending was to start a new chapter towards a passionate career. Absolutely, Nicole. When one door closes, another door open, and you needed to release that job so you could empty that vessel, that job that no longer serves you was creating a vessel that you weren't able to bring in something better, something new, because you had that in your vessel, right? So it was clogging up your vessel. And that clog didn't allow you to bring something new in, something better, something amazing. So you have to let go of that job in order for something better to come in. You see? Wow. So Nicole, claim it. Step into it. And you will see how the universe brings you what you might say is a miracle. This is a miracle. I was in the supermarket and I claim it. I claim it. I am so amazing. And I claim this. And next thing or you might be in a drugstore or whatever, or a supermarket. And next thing you know, you met somebody right there at the produce section. You're picking some apples or oranges, and somebody next to you, all of a sudden asks you a question, and you guys get into a conversation. Next thing you know, he's the employer of some incredible company that you always dreamed of having such a career, right? That's how it works. The universe brings it to you, but you have to claim it. You have to step up to that. You have to align with that. And the storm is helping you do that. Ella says, I have experienced chaos, but the breakthrough I'm yet to experience. Okay, okay, I get it. I understand. It's because, Ella, there's more work to do. There's more work to do. Ask yourself, have I really claimed who I am? Do I really know who I am? Have I really remembered who I am? The first thing is, who are you? What is the deepest part of you? This is where meditations become amazing, because when you do meditations and you go inward, you're discovering yourself. You're discovering who your soul is. You're discovering all that stuff. And it's a discovery process. And in order to make that breakthrough, you have to discover that. So that's why whenever I do meditations, I journal. I journal this. I journal this. I journal this. I journal messages. I journal intentions. I journal visuals. I journal everything. And over time, you're like, whoa, this is who I am. This is who I truly am. And this is my natural talents and gifts. And I'm going to claim it, and I'm going to step into it. That clarity becomes so powerful. And so that's what that is that what you're going through right now, Ella, is that you have chaos at different times. It's to keep refining you, to keep refining you, to keep refining you, because you're not ready. You're not ready. You're not ready. Right? How many years have I been refining myself? My God, so many years. So many years. So many years. I'm refining myself. So what it is it keeps refining you. That chaos is refining you, refining you, refining you, refining you. Not quite ready, not quite ready, not quite ready, not quite ready. But the fundamental of breakthroughs is and refinement is to really know who you are. Not what other people tell you who you are, not what society tells you who you are, but you knowing who you are, Ella. You knowing your soul's journey, you knowing your soul's path, you knowing and you claiming that. So there's clarity, there's more clarity here. There needs to be more clarity as to remembering who you are and remembering that. All you're trying to do is remember, because you are already an infinite being of infinite potential. So what you're doing is you're just remembering. And most of us can't remember. Why? Because we're so distracted here by the white noise of society, right? Society tells us this, society tells us that, our friends and family tells us this, social media says this, everything says, right? So how can we ever remember who we are when there is this infinite distraction of the mind? How can we ever remember who we are when there is this infinite distraction that we are being pulled into by what we call this life, whether it's social media, whether it's news, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's community, whether it's our school, whatever it is, it's constantly trying to take our minds and mold it in the way that is not you. No wonder why it takes so long to remember who you are. No wonder why. And so what God is doing is keep giving you chaos. And it's telling you, keep doing the inner work. Remember, it's keep pulling you. Come here so that you can remember you. Come here to remember you. Come here to remember you. Do you think it happens in one try? No. There are lots of people that roam around this planet that never make that breakthrough. And you know why they never make that breakthrough? Because no matter how much chaos God has given and provided, they will never do that inner work. But God is loving in the sense that it wants you to make that breakthrough. God wants you to refine yourself, so it keeps giving you that chaos, keeps giving you that chaos, keeps giving you that chaos. You see? You see? It's to refine you, it's to prepare you, it's for you to remember where your true power lies. Not all the white noise of society, white noise of social media, white noise, they're all white noise. So it takes different, and some chaos might be smaller, some chaos might be bigger, right? But usually when you are ready to make a breakthrough, a real breakthrough, the chaos is big. It's not small, it's not medium, it's big. It feels like one of the biggest storms that you've ever experienced in your life, because it's just saying you are ready. And I'm going to refine you so much that when you step in and you break through and you come out of that storm, you're just like a new person. Not new person in your soul, because your soul always the same. Your soul is always infinite. It always knows wisdom. It always knows love. You're a new person in the way you think, the way you see situations, the way you behave, the people that you surround yourself with, and the opportunities that come to you. That's what this is about. Okay. So Ella, remember when you have chaos, remember what I said. Refinement. How can I refine myself more? How can I refine myself more? That's what the message is here. Refinement, to prepare you, to prepare you. It's preparing you, preparing you, preparing you. Remember that. Okay, so now let's talk about for healing sick, divine redirection is uncomfortable. Absolutely. It is uncomfortable. It could be very uncomfortable. But that is needed. Because how do you get comfortable with the uncomfortable? By being uncomfortable, right? That's one of the Buddhist teachings, is how do you be comfortable and be present with the uncomfortable? By experiencing uncomfortable. That's how you become comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's the only way. Elsie Phillips, you're welcome, Elsie Phillips. I'm glad that it has really resonated with you. Okay, I'm glad. Let's see what other things that people have here. Uh, Nicole, thank you. I'm so glad that you have a great support system. That's beautiful. Okay, Ella, I'm so proud of you. I have become that, Moon. Less words. Very proud of you. Okay, Philippa says, I am confident also, and what frustrates me is when someone has the audacity to question me and my choice or doesn't follow through with their word. It really frustrates me. Yes, yes, but this is what you do when you get frustrated. I detach, I seek freedom. That is the moment where I let go and I surrender. I just seek freedom. I said, God, this is in your hands. It's not in mine. And so I seek internal freedom when that happens. This is in your hands. I let it go. I release it to you. I'm not controlling anybody or anything outside of me. I'm going to release it to you. Whatever happens, happens. So when you genuinely do that and you feel that freedom, you are in the most powerful state. Why? Because you have all the vessel for something better to come in, better people, better situation. You're just like a magnet. So even if that person, it doesn't matter what that person thinks or choice, whatever, your frustration with them is not, it's like a resistant blocked energy. You're seeking freedom. So we know that you can't control anybody outside of you, right? Nobody can. So why get frustrated? So what you want to practice is freedom. You want to practice letting that go, surrendering that to God. knowing that when you've surrendered and you release that, that something better is going to come in, or they're going to change their behavior and they're going to meet you where you're at. That's the two things that are going to happen. So let go of that frustration. Say, I let go of this frustration to you, God, to the universe. I trust in your infinite wisdom to handle this. I am freeing myself up. It doesn't matter whether they show up, whether they do. It doesn't matter. I'm free. I'm letting it go. That's the most powerful thing you could do. Okay. So try to minimize that frustration. That frustration means you're attached. And the more you're attached, the less powerful you are. The more you're attached, the less powerful you are. So frustration means you're attached to something. And you're frustrated over something that you have no control over, right? No control. Surrender it, release it to God and the universe. I'm glad that makes sense, Sharon. I'm glad that this makes sense. Philippa says, I am finding myself being more and more silent around people. That is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. That is not, that is strength. That is courage. That is power. Tony says, the storm is pushing us into the vortex for infinite possibilities. That is right. You want to level yourself up, but you know how the storm has the eye of the storm? So now let's go into some of the exercises that you could do to be able to ride the storm and meet and claim who you are. I'm going to meet and claim who I am. So one of the exercises that you could do talking about the storm is you could see yourself going through the storm. You're like everything's happening, right? And you're like being pulled and pushed, and your body's being pulled and pushed in different ways. Don't be resist to that. Don't let it resist. Don't resist to anything that the storm does. Let the storm take you here, take you there, wherever you go. See yourself in the storm, and the storm is going like this, like this, like this. And stay calm, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. Visualize yourself just letting your body go here, letting your body go there. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Be with it. Integrate with the storm. Integrate with the storm. You are one with the storm. And so then what happens is all of a sudden you're going to find yourself in the eye of the storm. Because you're going through that storm and you're allowing that storm to take you wherever it's supposed to take you, because you have trust, you have faith, you have trust and faith in the process of moving through the storm, right? Because the storm has infinite wisdom. It has so much infinite wisdom. You have no idea. So you're going to let the storm take you here. You're going to let the storm take you there. You're going to let the storm take it. And next thing you know, you're going to find yourself in the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm. And what happens in the eye of the storm? There's only peace. There's only silence. There's only serenity. There's only flow. And because the eye of the storm is like here and the storm is like this, right? You're going to end up right here. And now what you're going to be doing is you're going to be controlling that storm. Because the eye is like the operating system of the storm, right? You're going to control. You're going to be able to control and create in that storm. That's the breakthrough right there. That's the breakthrough. So think about now you're going to be able to control and you're going to create and you're going to design that storm. Because you are the operating system of the storm. You're the operating system of that storm, the eye of the storm. And you do it all in silence. You're going to do it all in silence. You're in it. Visualize yourself sitting in that eye of the storm and see yourself, feel the freedom, feel the detachment from all forms, feel the peace, feel the serenity, feel the calm. And say, I step into my power. I remember my power. I claim my power. I remember that I am an infinite being of infinite possibilities. I am the operating system of the storm. I create the storm. I am the storm. I claim it. I step into it. Say those things. Step into it. Be it. Don't say you're trying. Don't say it's going to happen in the future. Don't say maybe. Step into it. Claim it. And as you're moving through the day, if you start saying these mantras to yourself, right? As you're moving through the day, whether you're doing the dishes or whether you're walking your dog, whatever, you could say it to yourself. I am the storm. I am the creator. I step into my power. I claim my power. I am an infinite being of infinite potential. I step into courage. I step into I am I am one with fear. Fear is one with me. I integrate with fear. If you integrate with fear, fear has no power over you. If you integrate with the storm has no power over you. You're transcending it, you're transmuting it. And think about when you come out of that. So, what is it that you're not going to accomplish? This is the most beautiful thing. What is it that you're not going to accomplish? Philippa asks, would a fast also help empty the vessel? Yes, I would say fasting does help empty the vessel for sure. But make sure you do it in a responsible way that is aligned with your health. Okay, that's all I would have to say. Yes, I agree. Fasting can help with the vessel, but do it in a responsible way. Don't do it because, especially if you have some health issues or whatever. Okay, make sure you do it in a responsible way. Philippa says, makes sense. I get it. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy. Nidayola. Oh, ooh, yes, yes, yes. I'm so happy you guys are resonating with this. It is so powerful. Uh, Carolyn says, I wonder how many more challenges that the dear Lord needs to put on my path. While I feel huge gratitude for where I am and how I have started developing myself and self-care, I just feel alone. I get it. I get it. I have felt alone my entire life. I have felt alone my entire life. And you know something? That is your power. Because you need to be alone to be able to reflect and go inside and step into your power. Your aloneness is critical and vital to be able to remember who you are and claim and step into who you are. That is vital. So God gives those who thinks is more the chosen one more alone time because you need that self-reflection. You need the wisdom. You need the quiet because it's in the quiet that God speaks. And that's what the alone time. So I always say this, I walk alone, but I'm never alone. What does that mean? I walk alone, but I'm never alone. It means that, yes, I might be alone in this time space reality, and I accept it because I'm on such a deep spiritual path and awakening and making breakthroughs. I am. But the thing is that I know I have all of the support of the universe, of God, of my spirit team. There's nothing more powerful than that. There's nothing greater support than that team, that spiritual family. There's nothing bigger than that, right? So I say to yourself, I walk alone, but I am never alone. And over time, as you keep building yourself and you're meeting the times, you're remembering who you are, you're not going to feel as alone. You're not going to you might be alone, but you're not going to feel so lonely. You're going to appreciate the times that you have the privilege of being more alone. Alone does not necessarily mean lonely. You know what I'm saying? I walk alone, but I'm not alone. And over time, when you do this upgrade of your spiritual work upgrade, you're alone, but you're not going to feel as alone. You're not going to feel lonely because you'll see that you'll see how you'll feel the support that the universe gives you. You'll feel it because you're going to see miracles. You're going to see breakthroughs, and you're like, my God, I am so supported. And I'm doing that. I'm on this journey, and I've been doing this inner work journey on my own, and I'm being supported. Look at this. Look at just what happened. Look at this opportunity that came in. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Okay? Yes, Heidi. Never base your worth on others' opinion. Absolutely. I met Philippa says I meditate and say my affirmations daily. Is that helping me? It cannot not help you. It cannot not help you. Of course. I mean, I meditate myself and I say mantras and affirmations all day. It's a good thing that you're doing that because that's the thing that allows you to go inward, that allows to awaken you to remember who you are. That is what allows you to find your truth, to find the truth. That is what allows you to awaken to courage, awaken to your soul where your true power lies, all of that. So yes, and that it does that mean that the meditations will evolve into something different in the future? Yes, it would, because the meditations that I do now are very different from meditations that I used to do. And maybe another year or two, the meditations will look again different. So allow yourself to meditate and evolve in that meditation because you're constantly evolving. I have read affirmations out loud mindfully, game changer. Yep, absolutely, because you're communicating with the universe. Okay. Elsie says, I have to go. Thank you for helping me and my husband. Your words are truly blessed. I'm so glad. I'm grateful to all of you. Okay. So one of the things that you want to really make sure is that I just want to really reiterate, is there any, well, first of all, let me see if there's any more questions. Um, I am allowing my mature years limit my journey, my fear of being possible. Sorry, meant to delete and do over. Just word that I will not finish what I started. My fear of being possible. Okay, that's where that limiting thought that your maturity is limiting you, but it's not really true. I remember Louise Hay, one of my mentors. I love her. Those of you who know Louise Hay, she started her business at the age of 60. Did you know that? At the age of 60. Doesn't mean that you have to start a business, because not everybody is supposed to start a business. It means that when you start to tap into your infinite part, the age won't matter for you. It won't. Okay? So Carolyn, remember that. Okay. You're welcome. I like that, Heidi. Use the triggers that you have to heal you. Absolutely. Because that trigger is saying that you haven't healed something within yourself. That's why it triggered you. Because if that part of you was healed, you would never be triggered by that, right? You're triggered by it because you haven't healed that part of yourself. That's what that means. Okay. Uh, you're welcome. So, okay. Does anybody have any final questions? Okay. DR says, I'm really struggling with family dynamics. I think I may be the black sheep of the family. I believe my higher self is telling me to break away, but it brings daily pain. Okay. The thing about DR is you don't have to break away. You have to stop allowing them to bother your internal world. Doesn't mean that you can't spend time with them or see them during Christmas or Thanksgiving or the holidays. It means that your mind, your internal world has to say that it's okay that they don't understand me. My family has never understood me. I'm like the black sheep, but I'm okay. I still speak with my family and I would see them, whatever. I'm okay with it. You have to make your internal world say, I'm on my journey. I'm on the journey of DR. And it's okay that my family doesn't understand that. And I don't have to explain it. Again, silence is golden. I don't have to explain anything to them. You're relying more on God and the universe and your spirit teams for that resonance. Don't look to external people for that resonance. So what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, it's okay that they don't resonate with me and they don't understand. Not everybody's going to understand with you, including your family. That's just the way it is. And especially if you're the chosen one, very few people are going to very few people are going to understand you. And you have to be okay internally with that. That's called freedom. That's called detachment. Does it mean that you can't see your family? Of course. And when you go see your family, you're not going to talk about what you're doing on the inside. You're going to talk about the things that everybody talks about, whether it's, the grandkids or this or that, right? It's okay that if you may have cordial small talk, that there's nothing wrong with that because you might see them maybe once or twice a year. You're not doing that every day. Like I get it. If you're doing small talk every day, it could get very annoying, right? And you could feel very lonely, but you'll see them like a few times a year. So what? You can make small talk a few times a year. That's not a big deal, right? So you're giving too much weight on what they think of you, DR. You have a very unique journey that maybe one or two people can understand. But there's nothing wrong with that. Or if nobody understands, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So train your internal world. Okay. Okay, so now I think I've answered the questions. Oh, I've got to go because I have so many things to do. I'm going out of town this Friday, and so I've got so many things to do. So let's do a closing prayer. Remember, claim and step into who you really are. Dear God, angels, spirit guides, and masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create this sacred space on remembering who we are, claiming who we are, stepping into who we are, that we realize that all of the chaos, the storms, the hurricanes that we experience is to refine every single one of us, is to prepare us for that breakthrough, for that big miracle breakthrough. We know that you are giving us these storms, not to punish us, not to judge us, but to refine us, to prepare us, to meet the highest potential of each and every one of us, that every single one of these beautiful souls has infinite potential. And that storm is to prepare them to be able to meet that potential and hold that space when they come out of that storm. So thank you so much for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued wisdoms, your continued protection, and most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Much love and blessings to all of you. Have a beautiful week. Bye.